We're at our first stop on our summer grandkid Colorado road trip. We're going to Estes Park. We're about 2 hours away. We hooked up in horrible downpour, which stopped 2 minutes after we got hooked up. And we stopped at a place called Muggs Root Beer.
Muggs Drive-In.
Just called Muggs Drive-In outside, or actually right in Columbia, right off the interstate. And we're having hamburgers, but they're crumble hamburgers, not patties, and chili cheese dogs. So how's your chili cheese dog?
It's pretty good.
It's good.
And root beer floats that are made right here. Taste them. What do you guys think?
Good.
How's your burger? I'm gonna try mine.
I did.
I like it. So I guess the root beer floats were acceptable. Root beer floats were very good. How was the chili cheese dog?
Great.
Very good.
Very good. I thought the cheeseburger was really awesome. It's not a burger though.
It's not.
It's not a burger. It's not a burger. It's crumbled ground beef with melted cheese in it. And you can get onions, pickles, mustard, or ketchup. And so it's more like a kind of sloppy Joey-ish texture rather than a big thick burger. So if you like a big burger, you're probably gonna want to get 2 of them because it wasn't very big. But the flavor was
chili cheese dogs, but they were still good.
Yeah, the flavor was really good. So if you're passing through, it's worth trying because it is unique.
Yep.
Let me go bring it over.
All right, no spills,
You won the battle.
no breaks.
I will win the war.
We used the restroom and we're gonna hit the road and head past Kansas City and find a place to stop for the night.
Yep.
It's not tickly yet. It's her weird sister.
So first morning, well actually second morning, we left yesterday to head to Estes Park, Colorado. We've got 2 kids with us and a dog too.
3. A new dog.
An extra dog. So we got 3 dogs. They look like rockets.
First, we're gonna stop up here at the concrete
TP.
Take a pic.
TP.
Okay.
Concrete TP.
Landon's right. Then the
largest bird or wren in the world.
And then Bradley's
real bird.
Corner Cafe.
And then Bradley's Corner Cafe for pie.
And then the largest check egg.
Largest check egg.
And then the
Why am I repeating everything you're saying?
I don't know. And then the campground.
And then the campground. We'll be there for 2 days before we finish off on Saturday to Estes Park. All right. We're in Topeka, Kansas, and we're leaving Grandma behind in a parking lot near a little park here because the kids want to get the picture taken with the largest wren in the world, evidently, in Topeka, Kansas. It's a statue of a wren in a park in Topeka, Kansas that we're getting ready to walk up to.
Turn right onto 27th Street.
We're pulling into Wilson, Kansas to take a look at the largest check egg in the world, I think.
27th Street, Old US 40.
That's awesome.
Oh wow, it's undercover.
That's huge.
It's got its own little house. It's way bigger than the world's largest wren.
Well, there was also a ball of twine, but
I've heard about the ball of
everybody
twine.
said it stinks.
the old highways, he says.
It'll be fun, he says.
And so we're on the old Highway 40, which was better than the interstate.
Yeah.
Even though it's incredibly
Still very windy.
Very windy. And then all of a sudden, without warning,
This
comes to this.
No, they. I said straight.
You took out the cameraman, silly. Now they're having fun. This morning we're continuing our journey towards Estes Park. Our check-in's tomorrow, so we're going to stop at a couple places. But before we talk about that, we stopped at the Wikini. Is that how you say it? Wikini? Wikini KOA. It's a KOA journey, so it's right off the interstate, and not as many amenities as the holiday versions. But we spent 2 nights there because I had some work to do, and number one, they have fantastic internet. I was able to do conference calls, demos, no issues. The second best thing about it, considering it was over 100 the last 2 days, is they're fantastically clean and very cool pool. So that's pretty much where we spent most of our time. And then we also did the dog park, which is a nice, decent-sized fenced dog park that the dogs played in. And they did have some other amenities like basketball court and cornhole game that looked like it was brand new put in, but mainly this is we didn't explore the town of Bikini at all. I'm not sure what there is to do there.
Well, we just stayed hooked up.
Yeah, we just stayed hooked up, and
To do anything other than
it was a nice little pause to the driving and allowed me to get some work done, and now we're continuing our journey to Colorado. And today we've got the world's oldest geocache, and we've got the world's largest Van Gogh painting. It wasn't done by Van Gogh, I guess it's a copyright, clearly. If it is, we're loading it up.
Yeah. Just wrap it on top.
This is the world's oldest geocache, active geocache. Go ahead and pick up the block. You're going to put it back exactly like you found it. Pick up the other rock. Pick up the other rock. Here, I'll take that. And then you open it up and there's stuff inside, and usually you can take something. You're supposed to leave something if you take something. But is it open? Can you open it? Can you grab it, open it? So we're just finishing up the world's oldest active geocache near Colby, Kansas. getting ready to stop at this giant, world's largest Van Gogh painting.
Turn right onto Cherry Avenue, then turn right.
The big easel project consists of a series of steel easels measuring 25 meters or 80 feet high and weighing 17,000 kilometers or 45,000 pounds. The painting that rests on the easel is 24 feet by 32 feet. These easels will eventually showcase the work of various local, national, and international artists. Initially, a local artist would be commissioned to create the first painting on the easel. After a predetermined amount of time, there would be a call for the submission across the state and/or county. At this time, a local big easel committee would select a new painting for the easel. The original work would be replaced by this new painting, a different artist, and we would be hoisted by a crane and secured to the steel structure. We strongly believe that these sculptures would be completely unique in the world. The easel would not only stand as a landmark for the city, but would also be unique as it would be ever-changing. The monumental easel would remain constant, but the painting on the canvas would always be different year after year.
We're about 100 miles from our destination at Estes Park. We're on Highway 36. We got off the interstate. We got tired of the boring interstate and got on this Highway 36. Went through a couple of, more than a couple, about a half a dozen old highway towns. It was kind of neat, and we're just now finally starting to see faintly the mountains in the distance. So we're probably about 40 miles from the mountains, 50 miles from the mountains where we go up, and we're finally starting to see them. So 2 hours in Colorado, and it looked just like Kansas for the most part until you finally start seeing some mountains on the front range of Denver. So when I was producing this video, I found the footage of when we got lost a couple of times on our way to Estes Park. So I thought it would be good to add that as some bonus footage. Chris had been using a new app before we went out there to kind of plan our trip, right?
Yes.
Do you remember the app name?
Road Trippers.
Road Trippers. And so on our way out through Kansas, we had this nice lake we were going to stop at for a couple of days along the way so I could do some work. It was on a conservation area. It was near a lake, and so we were following the Road Trippers app, and we passed the exit that said going to this conservation area, and we were supposed to go to the very next exit according to this app and find our RV park. And so we took that exit and we passed the gas station. It was only like 15 miles to our supposed campground. We had about a quarter of a tank in our vehicle of gas, and we decided, well, we'd come back into town in the morning. It's getting close to dusk, so let's just go ahead and go get set up. So we drove down there and we come up to where it says to turn for our RV park, and it clearly was not.
It was a dirt road.
It was a dirt road. There were no signs. There was no nothing. We pulled up on Google Maps. There was nothing in that area. the conservation area was actually on the other side of the lake, and it was about a 40-mile drive around the lake. So we decided to go ahead and go back and get gas and go ahead and stop elsewhere. So we ended up spending a couple days in McKinney, Kansas at the KOA there, which we liked very much. But that was our first strike against the Road Trippers app,
Yes.
at least from a GPS perspective. So we continued on, and a few days later we end up in Estes Park, on our way to Estes Park. And Chris and I, shortly before we got there, we had a conversation. I asked if we were staying in the Rocky Mountain National Forest. She said no. And so we're continuing to get closer and closer to Rocky Mountain National Forest, and I asked her again, and she said no. I said, well, what's the name of it? She said Spruce Lake RV Resort. I said, okay. So, we've been driving all day. It was getting close to dusk again, and we're pulling into the park, and she didn't have the passes ready. And I'm like, why didn't you have the passes ready? And later she told me I wasn't expecting it to be in the park. Well, it wasn't in park. So, but anyway, we go through the park, and basically some of the footage will show you that we basically got lost. We went past some of the RFB parks, some of the RV parks that they have there, right near the entrance, which are very nice parks, but they were full. And we drove up following our GPS. We turned off on this right-hand turn. We went past some really cool areas, and we were coming up on our RV park, and it was getting narrower and narrower. And
coming up on the park according to the map, the directions. Yes.
We come up on the RV park there, and there's pretty much nothing. I mean, it's just the middle of the national forest. And so basically I said, okay, well, we'll turn around. We had passed a couple of turnouts behind us, and we figured there would be some turnouts on the road. So we're continuing on this road. It's getting narrower and narrow, and up ahead, I see the road change to gravel and go on this mountain switchbacks. And there was no way I was going to do that. So we found this little spot next to a creek that didn't have much room, and we basically had just enough room to back it up, pull forward, back it up, pull forward, and get on out of there. As you said, later in the trip, we actually were taking a drive through Estes Park, and we went back that way without the trailer behind us. And right when you get to the point where there are the switchbacks, there's actually a pull-off with a nice turnaround. It's a day park for day use.
Yeah, it's a loop with beautiful, picnic benches spots right along the creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't know that at the time, so
right.
It was kind of funny when we found out. But.
So we turned it around and ended up getting to Spruce Lake RV Park,
great job,
which we really enjoyed, and that really wraps up our trip to Estes Park. But what's the story on the Road Trippers app?
Well, I mean, we don't use it anymore.
It's deleted. That's
but
the point.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what the problem was, because I think it's got pretty good ratings.
But not for the GPS piece, huh?
I guess not. That was the same app that I used, I think, to find all those little, like the giant check egg and
that's cool.
and the Van Gogh painting.
And it took us to those fine, but it
Yeah.
doesn't do well with RV parks.
I guess not.
All right, so you can use the Road Trippers for finding cool destinations, but just not RV parks. At least that's our experience.
Well, yeah, and I actually paid for the upgrade because I think you're only allowed, you can plan a trip, and you're allowed only so many stops, and because there were multiple places that I wanted us to stop at on that trip, I upgraded, and, so be it. I deleted the app, and we don't use it anymore. But
no problem since.
No, no, not really.
All right. Well, check out the footage of us getting lost, and we'll see you next time.